Well, what brought me to the United States was I used to be a banker in my yesteryears.
Okay.
I was regional head with the bank called HSBC, and I what brought me to the US was an intra-company move within HSBC. And how did I land here is actually a crazy story. Uh, I had an accident in my life where I had a head injury at work. And because of tunnel vision and my inability to look at screens, there was, there was no way for me to continue in banking. And, and sometimes extenuating circumstances, put you in a position to do things that you wouldn't otherwise think you'd even do when you have, a comfortable life, a paycheck coming. It doesn't make you really take those risks to do things that you, uh, you know, so yeah, that's my story. And that's when this is about 8.5 years ago is when I started a geospatial analytics company because back in the day, uh, I did a lot of credit lending, by the way, on the banking side. So, studying financials, cash cycles, whether it's receivables financing or asset-based lending or balance sheet financing, whatever it is. So, I had a very deep understanding of businesses and how they function.
Hmm.
So I always looked for, and I still do, I look for tipping points in markets or industries or, or policies or what have you. And that's where I place my bets. And at that time, satellite imagery was just about beginning to get commoditized. It was earlier used by government and military and so on and so forth. So there's a commercial aspect that I knew would take off. So with my tunnel vision, I was rehabbing for 10 months and I had all the time in the world to put this together with a childhood friend of mine, actually. We met when we were 3.5 years old in kindergarten.
Uh-huh.
So he was my partner and, I've been blessed with good people that I could rely on. So despite my being incapacitated, I did have that support system uh, with good friends and good partners.
So let me drill into one aspect of this, which I'm curious about. So I think if you had a serious injury and you were somewhat offline, it would be very easy to not have the resiliency or the determination to explore a new startup and to try something new. Where did that come from for you? Why was it in this time period in your life that you decided this is the best time for me to do a startup?
Uh, Good question. Great question. So some perspective, every time, we looked at providing businessmen with facilities and, you drill deep into the finances and these are decently sized businesses, 15, 20, 30 million. And you go down to to the analytics of it and ask them questions like, hey, uh, what's your customer lifetime value or what's your cost of customer acquisition? And, you very often I'll tell you, you get deer in headlights kind of look. And I'm like, one of the things that occurred to me was, dude, if I ran a business and I ran a watertight ship, so that was always in my subconscious mind, but I didn't have the guts to do it. And I'll be honest with you, I was very, very scared at that point in time. And you know, I did seek help. I went and sought help because I was very close to depression at that time because of the uncertainties, and uncertainties push you. I think for me, people react differently to uncertainties, and for me, my thought process was, how much worse can it get?
Mhm.
I'm already at rock bottom.
Sure.
The only way, the only way is up.
Yeah.
So
So let me drill in on that. When you say you sought help, was that through traditional talk therapy? Or was there
I saw a therapist for some time.
Yeah.
The good thing is, I come from a family of, my sister is a therapist as well, but she put me in touch with someone that's also a life coach, if you know what I mean. So the way I've seen how therapists typically go, but this person was more than just a therapist for me. Help me, help me along the way to understand that, it's okay if you have to take the time to take a step back, and getting that kind of support was good. I've had amazing. I'm in touch with my childhood friends since we've been with my kindergarten friends. In fact, one of them was my partner. So for me, those kind of relationships, when you have someone that puts his hand on your shoulder and says, "Listen, we spoke about this 6 months ago. I'm ready to pull the trigger, give up what I'm doing, and do this with you. I have faith in you." And those kind of relationships, and when you have people on your corner, it gives you a different kind of an impetus. And I felt that I would never have been able to do it alone, Kendall. I mean, I want to be very clear about that. I had good people on my side who gave me that confidence to say, and quite honestly, for me, it was like it was a second chance at life, because I had no idea what was in store for me.